our distinguished directors, our specially invited guests, all of you all are distinguished guests. And all of you all are special being here. And we are so happy that you all are here. Good afternoon. You all would have heard the saying, bad things happen when good people remain silent. Today I want to add to that. And good things happen when good people act. The genesis of CTA, or Call to Action for Social Change Foundation, was a full-page article done by the Muslim community on the 24th of February, 2021, in response to the violence against women that was taking place at the time in our country. This initiative was led by the NGO, which I am president. The article ended with an invitation to, and I quote, the national community to join with us in this worthy struggle of repair, renewal, and return. Our children are counting on us. Bad things happen when good people remain silent, and good things happen when good people act. So as a follow-up to that invitation, I reached out to four persons, because I knew we had good people in our society, the ones who would not remain silent. I called Leela Ramdeen, I called Pastor Dottin, I called Dr. Khatija Khan, I called Reverend Abdul Mohan. Now they'll all tell you, except for Pastor Dottin, who I had a little interaction with, they knew me not at all. And it took a while for me to get their contact numbers. Adine, that is why you would see persistence. But without any hesitation, they all agreed with what I said and accepted the invitation. Bad things happen when good people remain silent, and good things happen when good people act. A call to action was sounded, and we had our first meeting via Zoom on the 10th of March, 2021. I don't know if it was 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the night, it's one of those. We went on to describe ourselves as a multi-religious and multidisciplinary group from Trinidad and Tobago's civil society, working together to bring about changes in our beloved Trinidad and Tobago. Our initial objectives were that our female population will no longer live in fear and will be able to realize their full potential in an empowering environment. That our boys and young men would get the necessary help and guidance so that they would grow and develop into respectable and stable young men. That mutual respect between the male and female population will be fostered. That there will be equity when accessing state-provided programs, social programs. That there will be equity in the access of education and the type of education. And that parents would get the relevant support and training so that they could meet their children's varied needs. And lastly, that the necessary changes would be made to improve our major institutions in our criminal justice system, be it law enforcement, use of forensics, judiciary, and etc. We identified the 4 areas that we would focus on for each committee to be formed: parenting and family life, education, culture, and the judiciary and law enforcement. To move forward, we decided that each committee would have a chairperson and a vice chair, since, as you would realize from those objectives, they are long-term. We identified 2 groups from our society which must be part of those committees. One was the youth. And we're not talking about no token youth. We're talking about youths at the table, in the room, in the discussion, part of the solution. And to show our commitment to that, we have young Arnaldo Conliffe, who is a youth. He's still pursuing his education. He's one of our directors. You will hear from him in a spoken word item later on. And the second grouping that we thought was important to be part of this was the media. They play a critical role for any changes in the society. And as a matter of fact, they could be part of the solution as well as part of the problem. We wanted at least one member of the media in each of the committees. Our approach was two-pronged, or is two-pronged, preventative and corrective action. And we said whatever our recommendations, it would be based on research, and we would ensure that there's monitoring and evaluation. Bad things happen when good people remain silent, and good things happen when good people act. We started reaching out to persons, and by August 2021, with a steering committee, which included the chairs of the 4 committees, and the 4 committees being in place, each committee conducted some brainstorming sessions to identify what are some of the possible reasons that we as a country had reached what some thought of then as rock bottom. Other work had to be started as well. And we had Mr. Ronnie Bissessa offering his help to guide us through being registered as an NPO. While we worked on all that was necessary to be registered, our committees continued their work. And in February 2022, we had an internal launch where each committee shared their findings. Knowing that it would be beneficial for all committees to work in tandem and work towards one problem and addressing the factors which are pertinent to their specific area, and there were some overlap, and developing the synergies from that effort, we then had the steering committee look at it. The steering committee, using the foundation of a theory of action, identified the first problem that CTA would tackle. That problem was the perpetuation and abetment of violence in our society. And this was like in March, April of 2022. When we looked back at the last 20 years, some even said more, we would see nothing substantial has been done to address, alleviate, or minimize the violence in our society in any real way. In effect, the violence in our society has just been allowed to perpetuate. And by doing nothing, the society has abetted in this perpetuation. For over 20 years, we as a country has facilitated violence and violent behaviors due to nothing being done about the deficiencies in our institutions and in our society. So in June 2022, we had our first general meeting where each committee started to work to identify the factors that they would initially work on towards reducing that perpetuation and abetment of violence in our society. You would hear more from the chairs of the committees on what has since taken place. Bad things happen when good people remain silent, and good things happen when good people act. How do we move forward? As we move forward towards achieving our goals, we would collaborate with the relevant stakeholders and others who are already doing good work. But what else do we need so that we could see good things happening? We need funding from the local businesses. We need those who are in charge of our institutions to work with us to be open to recommendations from civil society. We need more good people to act. Where are these people? They are in our communities, our families, our places of worship, our workplace. Let them come join us. Good things happen when good people act. And as I end, I would like to recognize some of those good people who have helped us along the way. Mr. Ronnie Bisessa, SC, and Ms. Kizia Felix, Mr. Kenrick Atal and his team, Ms. Nasima Ali and her friends, Mr. Shamil Ali, and I want to talk about the families that support us. Our families who support all our directors, all of our members. Because we carry out this voluntary work in addition to our other responsibilities. And it is with only the support from those families that we are able to do so. So to the husbands, the wives, the sisters, the friends of our directors and members, I say thank you. And I particularly would like to point out my husband, Yamin Ali, for his support. And of course, to our directors and the chairs of our 4 committees. Nothing could have been done without you. And I thank you. And I look forward to us continuing to work together. As we move forward, I would like to remind us that our children are counting on us, and failure is not an option. Before you hear from the 4 committees who you would hear about what they have planned, you would hear about the 5th other important committee. You. Yes, you, civil society, and the importance of your role. Because good things happen when good people act. I thank you.